Hey everyone, welcome back. Uh, let's get going. Let's get started. Gotta seek first the Lord's kingdom and His righteousness. Let's go. Let's go. Lord, I just want to thank you for today, another day. Guess I'm burdened. Just watched the YouTube video about a lady who was super duper pretty, but then she went into a burning car to save her lover, her boyfriend, who was already dead, but with the hope that she can save him. She went into the car and she herself got burned. 80% of her skin was burnt. And now her beauty is all gone. And yeah, how do you live after that? I just think about at any moment our life can change so drastically, dramatically. And I'm reminded that I need to seek first your kingdom and your righteousness no matter what, in season and out of season. Because I just don't know what you have in store for me and for the rest of this world the next moment. So, Lord, I just thank you. Pray that you bless me as I read your word. Going through Genesis 48. Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. So yesterday I finished Genesis 48. So today I'll go through Genesis 49. God blesses his sons. And Jacob blesses his sons. Then Jacob called his sons and said, "Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you what shall happen to you in days to come. Assemble and listen, O sons of Jacob. Listen to Israel, your father. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might and the first fruits of my strength, preeminent in dignity and preeminent in power." Unstable as water, you shall not have preeminence, because you went up to your father's bed, then you defiled. You went up to my couch. Reuben, how could you sleep with your brother's mom, half brother's mom? Simeon and Levi are brothers. Weapons of violence are their swords. Let my soul come not into their counsel. O my glory, be not joined to their company. For in their anger they killed men, and in their willfulness they hamstrung oxen. Cursed be their anger, for it is fierce, and their wrath, for it is cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Simeon and Levi messed up too. Judah, your brothers shall praise you. Your hand shall be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons shall bow down before you. Judah is a lion's cub. From the prey, my son, you have gone. He stooped down, he crouched as a lion, and as a lioness who dares rouse. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until tribute comes to him, and to him shall the obedience of the peoples, shall be the obedience of the peoples. Binding his foal to the vine, and his donkey's colt to the choice vine. He has washed his garments in wine, and his vesture in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine, and his teeth wired. Judah is tremendously blessed. Of course, in Judah's descent comes Christ. It's interesting because Judah also kind of messed up pretty big time, right? But the Lord is sovereign. Zebulun shall dwell at the shore of the sea. He shall become a haven for ships, and his border shall be at Sidon. Issachar is a strong donkey, crouching between the sheepfolds. He saw that the resting place was good, and that the land was pleasant. So he bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant of forced labor. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent in the way, a viper by the path, that bites the horse's heels, so that his rider falls backward. I wait for your salvation. Raiders shall raid Gad, but he shall raid at their heels. Asher's food shall be rich, and he shall yield royal delicacies. Naphtali is a doe let loose that bears beautiful forms. Joseph is a fruitful bow, by a spring. His branches run over the wall. The archers bitterly attacked him, shot at him and harassed him severely. Yet his bow remained unmoved. His arms were made agile by the hands of the mighty one of Jacob. From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. By the God of your father who will help you, by the Almighty who will bless you with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that crouches beneath, blessings of the breasts and of the blessings of your father are mighty beyond the blessings of my parents, up to the bounties of the everlasting hills. May they be on the head of Joseph. May they be on the head of Joseph and on the brow of him who has set apart from his brothers. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf, in the morning devouring the prey, and at evening dividing the spoil. So we can see Joseph is also tremendously blessed. But then it's through his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. So, whatever that means. Benjamin is not blessed. Yeah, it's interesting because Jacob loved Benjamin, but his blessings are scary. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel. This is what their father said to them as he blessed them, blessing each with the blessing suitable to. Then he commanded them and said to them, I am to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of at Machpelah, to the east of Mamre, the land of Canaan, which Abraham brought with the field of Ephron the Hittite to possess as a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife, and there I buried Leah. The field and the cave that is in it were bought from the Hittites. When Jacob finished commanding his sons, he drew up his feet into the bed and breathed his last, and was gathered to his people. And so it ends Jacob's life. Blessed by the Lord, wrestled with the Lord, and yet he describes his life as full of evil. His days were full of evil. A sobering reminder for me that blessings from the Lord does not mean a peaceful and here. And Joseph fell on his father's face and wept over him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his body. So the physicians embalmed his body. 40 days are required for that is how many are required for embalming. And the Egyptians wept for him 70 days. And when the days of weeping for him were past, Joseph spoke to the household of Pharaoh, saying, if now I have found favor in your eyes, please speak in the ears of Pharaoh. My father made me swear, saying, I am about to die. In my tomb that I hewed out for myself in the land of Canaan, there shall you bury me. Now therefore let me please go up and bury my father, then I will return. And Pharaoh answered, go up and bury your father, as he made you swear. So Joseph went up to bury his father. With him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, as well as all the household of Joseph, his brothers, and his father's house. Only their children, their flocks, and their herds were left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen. It was a very great company. When they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond the Jordan, they lamented there with a very great and grievous lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. When the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning on the threshing floor of Atad, they said, this is a grievous mourning by the Egyptians. Therefore the place was named Abel Mizraim. It is beyond the Jordan. Thus his sons did for him as he had commanded them. For his sons carried him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the field at Machpelah, to the east of Mamre, which Abraham bought with the field from Ephron the Hittite to possess as a burying place. After he had buried his father, Joseph returned to Egypt with his brothers and all who had gone up with him to bury his father. When Joseph's brothers saw that the father was dead, they said, it may be that Joseph will hate us and pay us back for all the evil that we did. So they sent a message to Joseph, saying, your father gave this command before he died. Say to Joseph, please forgive the transgression of your brothers and their sin, because they did evil to you. And now please forgive the transgression of the servants of the God of your father. Joseph wept when they spoke to him. His brothers also came. He fell down before him and said, behold, we are your servants. Joseph said, do not fear, for Am I in the place of God? As for you, you meant evil against me. But God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive, as they are today. So do not fear. I will provide for you and your little ones. Thus he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. Duh. What an emotional week it's been, Lord. And it's interesting because the one story in the Bible that makes me cry is the story of Joseph. And it has been ever since I was young, which is weird. But I think more so now. Because especially now, this week has been very emotional, personally. And then I just see Joseph and his life and how painful it is. You know, so when I think about Joseph's life, right, he's number two. Practically speaking, he's number one in Egypt, the powerhouse, the greatest empire at the time, or at least in that region, right? And I mean, he's only number two by position, but he's number one practically speaking. He's running the show, running the country, and um, but I think he will say that his days were evil. Even him who is number one most powerful man in Egypt, the superpower. Whatever he says goes. I think even he would say his days are evil because he had to suffer so much. I think about success. I think about fame. I think about power. I think about my glory. Joseph had it all. He did. He had it all. But he was a suffering man. Jacob says that his days are evil. His days were evil. I think Joseph would say the same thing, if not more emphatically. His days were evil. But I think Genesis 50 wraps it up, where Joseph cries with his brothers. His brothers ask him for forgiveness. And Joseph cries with them. And he says, you might have meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. And he promises to provide for all his brothers and their children. And this is, I don't know why it makes me cry. I think it makes me cry because of the suffering and the pain and the evil that we all have to go through in this life. Without painful issues. But I'm also reminded that it doesn't end there, right? It'll make our relationship with the Lord more precious. It'll help us to be more humble before Him. And we get to love our Lord more and look forward to our time in heaven more. And we're reminded that our time here is temporary. And we as we suffer, our time here is going to be temporary. We just thank the Lord. All the sufferings are for my good, for our good, for the good of those who are called according to God's purpose. And we long for the day when there will be no more pain, no more sorrow, no more sin and death. And we get to love you perfectly. All right, well, enough crying. God is good. Lord, you're good. And can't wait for the day when all this ends. That's for sure. But while you keep us here, keep me here, help me to seek first your kingdom. Anyways, let's get started on prayer.